Hello everybody, and welcome to the Moto Mill. Starting to rain and thunder here a little bit, but with maico there was a real storm brewing here in 1978. Machine is a radical departure from the AWs that came beforehand, and this bike would set the stage for the mighty Maico Mega 2, the 490 that came out in 81. This one here is a Magnum 1. Similar engine generation, just using the different cylinder and top end. You can see everything on is really still pretty unique, built in West Germany. The counter sprocket here is what makes this bike very cool. Got it a lot closer to the swing arm pivot than the AWs. That helped with the chain derailment that those earlier bikes were having as they went to the long travel rear. As you can see, this machine here has a decent amount of travel, all controlled by Works Performance shocks. Nice fresh tires. Everything's been done on this bike. I mean, every bearing, all the spokes, the whole motor's been completely redone. PVL ignition, Mikuni carb, KTM kickstarter. Those three items, personally, I would change. I would gladly go back to the old Bing, go back to the stock kickstarter, even though sometimes they did break at the knuckles. And the PVLs, I'm not sold on them yet. They're kind of tough to get the bikes running, really. They do okay once they are running, but it seems like on the low speed they're not too perfect. You can check out the nicely redone front wheel up here. That nice aluminum brake stay on there, cable holder. Still using those in-house maico forks. Got Renthal bars on it. If you notice, all of these plastics are very glossy, while originally from the factory, the Falk plastics were not glossy at all. They were actually satin. You can tell that this bike was really, really unique in terms of frame geometry, especially in comparison to the earlier Maicos and from any of the other brands. Really worked well. Now this power plant here, originally they would be just in bare aluminum. But it would be the same motor that would be used on the later 490s that everybody loves, just with a different top end. As you can see, the cylinder fins were shaved down. That was like a Wheelsmith race style mod. The last guy that had this bike that actually did a lot of the hard work for me, another Armor racer, a good friend of mine, he did that. Cleaned it up, I like it. At some point I might change the motor from black back to the polished aluminum. Nice aluminum triple trees, Renthal bars. Got a Magura clutch. This side here we got a quick adjuster on the brake side. Still using that sheet metal rear brake drum. Those can be a little bit problematic. This one's doing pretty good right now. See where it's got the spring hooked up for the brake return. Wider foot pegs. Beautiful OEM expansion chamber on it. Nice Maico seat cover. These bikes are some of the best handling Maicos ever built. They really do everything darn good. I've owned several 400s and 440s. The 440 is a real trail weapon. It just has a little bit more bottom end than these, but the 400s are very nice and controllable. Like I was saying before, I'd really like to go back to a Bing. The Mikuni's jetted good. It sounds incredible when it's running, sitting here idling, and it sounds so crisp, but there's just something about the way the Bings run on these machines. In fact, a lot of works riders would talk about that. I know some of the guys from Australia too, they had tried putting Mikuni's on them back in the day, and they said that it sounded better and was jetted better, just like I'm talking about, but then they went and tested lap times, and it turns out that the Bings were just whooping the Mikuni's. Not all that different from the Amels on the Bultacos. The Mikuni's most of the time seem to have slight little issues, but nowadays they're just so much easier to get parts for. Everything's cheaply reproduced for them, and it's a much easier carb to work with. But at some point here, I've got several Bings. I'll go back to it. You see it's got the stock aluminum shifter on it. This bike has a uni air filter in it. Very, very few hours on this motor at all. It's really a nice machine. Now, some people will compare that Beta 500 I showed in the other videos to this bike, but they're completely different. At some point, we'll do a breakdown on the two bikes together, and at some point, too, we'll do it where they're racing along with a Husky 390, my RM 400, bust out a twin shock RC 500 replica, and a Kawasaki SR 380 replica made out of a KDX, but they're all good class comparisons to fight each other. This is probably one of my nicest bikes. Like I said, the last Arrma guy that had this, he really did a good job. Really, the only thing I know I did for sure on this bike is I painted the gas tank. That was me doing that. It came out pretty good. Solid color red with just the maico stickers on it. Even all the hardware is nice on this machine. Brakes always work great on these bikes. They're just really lovely machines. There's some bikes that hold your hand even if you make a mistake, and this is one of them. If you go out and do something stupid with it, this make will kind of cover your butt a little bit. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. I think I'm going to end this video now because it seems like the rain's starting to come down pretty good. But we'll fire this bike up for you in the next few days and see how it does. Thank you, everybody.